Project GRASS. Project GRASS is an experimental project taken up by the Baltic nations, that is, the nations surrounding the Baltic Sea, that is, the Scandinavian countries, and Germany. Basically, the main idea was to um, find techniques to grow algae that are already growing there, that is, algae that are growing in the temperate region, and mainly the Baltic Sea. It has high amount of fucus and alpha, but there are also other type of macro algae, like for example Corda, Phyllium, Laminaria digitata, Saccharina latissima. So all these algae, they are found to be growing in the temperate region, in the littoral sublittoral region. So this project was basically to cultivate this economically important algae in the Baltic region, that is the Scandinavian countries and Germany. Hello friends, I am Mayantika. This video is just a case study of the earlier video, that is cultivation of seaweeds or cultivation of marine macro algae. So before watching this video, do watch that video also, and I have put the link of that video in the description box. So today's video will be just a case study of Project GRASS. Now, Project GRASS, though it was all the Scandinavian country and Germany took part in this Project GRASS, but most of the cultivation it was done by Sweden. Most of the experimental level cultivation it was done by Sweden. And Saccharina latissima, it is the most popular species to be grown in under this project. Though the project has many other species, and now the project is targeting to grow other species, like for example here the Ascophyllum nodulosum, Cordus crispus, and these all other species. And these are the companies, that is the Nordic Sea Farm and another, I don't know how to pronounce this, but these are pretty much the companies that are experimentally cultivating algae on economic scale, on large scale. So the culture technique is mostly the floating, that is the long line technique. We know I have discussed the culture technique of the macroalgae in the previous video, that is seaweed farming video. So I won't be discussing it in length here, but mostly it is a long rope on which this algae it is tied, the seedling, the small algae it is tied, and it is allowed to grow for 4 weeks, and depending upon the biomass accumulation rate of each species, it is harvested. So again, the cultivation is two types, that is floating and fixed to the ground at the bottom, and there are also two type of farming, where some algae which can be just propagated by fragmentation, they are put in this type of long line directly, and those which grow by spores, their spores are hatched in the hatchery or nursery, and the young seedling that is tied to a small twig and allowed to grow for a certain length, then it is transferred to this type of long line. So this is pretty much how it was done. The macroalgae are cultivated, and these are the companies and the countries which are taking part in this project GRASS. And already fucus, alpha, saccharina, corda, phyllium, these are the plants which have been successfully experimentally cultivated, and now the target is these algae. These algae that is Ascophyllum porphyra. So what are the algae that were included in the project grass? Now brown algae, that is the Phaeophyceae, red algae Rhodophyceae, and green algae, that is Chlorophyceae, all these type of algae were considered. Now we will be discussing each of the type of algae in detail. Now we will begin with the Phaeophyceae or the brown algae, Cordaphilium. Cordaphilium, it also goes by the name of dead man's rope or sea lace. This is a phaeophyte, that is brown algae, and it is an annual algae, that is it dies and it is replaced by the spores, that is the gametophytic generation or the sporophytic generation. They are not perennial. They die out and every year. And this cordophilium, the one most important thing is that it can grow in brackish as well as saline water, which means that it can grow over a wide range of salinity condition. Also, it is a very fast grower, because all the annual species, they are generally fast grower. So this is very good algae to be cultivated because of its growing condition in a wide variety of salinity. Also, it's a very fast grower, but one thing is that it should be grown in a very sheltered area, because this algae, if grown in very exposed site, it will be teared by the tissue of the cordophilium or the dead man rope algae. It will be teared by the wave action. And the main economic importance of this cordophilium is that it is a edible algae, and this is mostly used to flavor salad, broth, and even it is used in sushi. And one most important thing is that it can be co-cultured in combination with other type of algae like Laminaria and Saccharina, as well as with animals, this mollusk Mytilus edulis. This is a marine bivalve or oyster, Mytilus. So co-culture of Corda with other algae as well as with other mollusk can be done. So this is the culture condition. Next on, we move to the other brown algae, that is Fucus vesiculosus. Fucus vesiculosus or bladder rat, which is also called commonly as bladder rat. This is a very important source of algae because it is high in iodine content, and traditionally it has been used to treat people with goiter. Also, apart from that, it has got a range of nutraceutical property. For example, it contains antioxidants like zeaxanthin, beta carotene, alginine, mannitol. So all this wide variety of nutraceuticals um, have antioxidant property, and not only Fucus vesiculosus, but all the brown and red algae contains this zeaxanthin, these carotenoid pigments like zeaxanthin, beta carotenes, which are antioxidant. So, here in Fucus vesiculosus, it is present in huge amount. That is why it is used as a nutraceutical, and this is found to be growing in the intertidal region, and either in a free floating condition, and these are they are huge they form actually a belt of sea meadow. They are the canopy forming species, and they are very commercially viable because I told you about the nutraceutical value for which it is used both in cosmetics and as a food supplement. So this is the economic importance, and it is found to be a very robust species, and it is found to be preferring brackish water, that is of low salinity, and one problem that is faced by this cordophilium is that it is very prone to biofouling and it is a very slow grower. And this type of fucus, it is also very fucus vesiculosus is also very common in the North Atlantic Sea, especially in the Atlantic shores of Europe and the sea around British Isles. And this fucus, it as it is a very hardy species, it is found to be growing well in the exposed sea also, but only problem is that it is a very slow grower. Otherwise it is a very robust species. The next brown algae that we'll discuss is Laminaria digitata. Laminaria digitata, it is found to be sharing its habitat with Saccharina latissima. So this Laminaria digitata is found to be growing along with Saccharina latissima. The growth condition of both these two algae, Laminaria digitata, which is also called the oreweed, and Saccharina latissima, which is also called the sugar kelp, this sugar kelp and oreweed. This is the Laminaria digitata is the oreweed and Saccharina latissima is the sugar kelp. Both these laminariates, that is they have the same type of growing condition. They both grow in littoral region, and they have the same habitat, they have the same growing condition, that is the same salinity, the same temperature, and are found to be growing together in the same area. And one important thing is that they even have the same pathogenic fungi, that is the pathogenic fungi Phycomelania laminariae. It is found to be growing, parasitizing both laminaria as well as Saccharina. And one of the main reason is that they have the same habitat, they grow in the same area, for they form an extensive meadows, they grow together, that is why they have this common pathogenic fungi. Otherwise laminaria and Saccharina, they are they are found to be growing in the very cold region, and both laminaria as well as Saccharina, they are used in culinary, they have culinary uses, especially to flavor the soup, salads, and also laminaria, this upper one, laminaria, this one, this laminaria, it is also a very good source of alginic acid. And both laminaria and Saccharina, they are robust species, that is they can grow on exposed sites, they do not need sheltered site that much, and they can grow in rough sea also. But both laminaria and Saccharina, they are highly predated. Laminaria is predated by sea urchin, and Saccharina, it is also predated by shellfishes and other herbivore fishes. So then we come to the red algae used in the project grass. Red algae that was grown in the project grass are Furcillaria lumbricalis, which is commonly called the forkweed, and this is a very good source of carrageenan, that is it is a carragenophyte. This upper species, this one, it is the a picture of Furcillaria umbilicarius, the forkweed. This is also very commonly found in the North Atlantic region, that is Canada, Denmark, Poland, and the British Isles, the Baltic Sea. And it is actually traditionally harvested in Canada and Denmark, and it is used as a feeding material for in the fishery as well as in other type of aquaculture. Apart from its use in aquaculture, this is a very good source of carrageenan and phycobilin. And the main this Furcellaria, it has two ecotypes. That is, one is the loose growing ecotype, another is the very gregariously growing, very vigorously growing and growing in a very closed, compact form. So these two type of ecotypes of Laminaria, Furcellaria is present. And this Furcellaria has been traditionally harvested as a beach cast wreck, and now it is used in artificial in cultivation also. The next is the Palmeria Palmetto. This one is the Palmeria Palmetto. This is also a very popular food source, that is dulse, which is used as a dulse flakes are used both as a source of food itself as well as to add flavor to other type of food, especially in the soup and the another type of broth dishes. They add the umami flavor, this Palmeria Palmetto. And this actually I've made a video on dulse also, how it is used as a food. So I'll put the link in the description so that you know better about this Palmeria Palmetto. And this Palmeria Palmetto is a very good source of dietary fiber. And this Palmeria, it is also used as a feed for abalone farms, and it is also predated by parasitic nematodes and copepods that causes huge economic loss to the Palmeria Palmetto cultivation farms. So these are the two red algae used in Project Grass. We come to the green algae. One green algae that is used in Project Grass is alva. We know that alva, or which is commonly known as sea lettuce, it's a green algae, and it is voraciously fed by the manatees and the sea slug. So any cultivation of alpha, it has to be protected from these two animals because they voraciously feed on alpha. And alpha is also a very good aquarium plant for the herbivorous fishes. And alpha, it is found to be also growing in the well in the temperate region. And economically it is important as a refugia, as aquarium feed for the herbaceous fishes, and also it gives a very aesthetic look to the aquarium. Apart from that, it is also a very good source of food. It adds when alva is added to any dish, it adds a umami flavor, and so it is used to flavor in soup as well as salads. And one important thing is that alpha is a macroalgae that responds to eutrophication by forming a bloom. Alpha bloom are very common in, if you get it is an indicator, alpha bloom is an indicator of eutrophication. If there is eutrophication, alpha bloom will be there. And ultimately after the bloom, excess when the excess amount of nutrient is lost, then the excess amount of alpha, if it dies, and it actually decomposition of this alpha, it produces hydrogen H2S gas. And this gas, we know that when inhaled, it can cause unconsciousness, and in extreme cases it can even cause death in both animal as well as human. So while we should be very careful of treating our farmyard waste, and especially the poultry farm waste and the pig farm waste, because if that enters the sea, then there we are bound to get the alga bloom, which can cause toxicity in the neighboring atmosphere, not only by the bloom itself but also after the bloom. It will be dangerous, it will produce this toxic gases. So this was alva, and alva is one of the species of project grass, and as it is found to be growing well in the temperate region, this was considered, especially alva and fucus. They are very common in the Baltic region, so they were considered. And so this was all about project grass. Though project grass is not in the BSc or MSc syllabus, but you can always add this project grass as a case study in your answers, which will help you get more marks in questions, especially how the cultivation technique of macro algae and on large scale basis. So this was all about project grass, and I have made also other videos of about other type of videos about algae. Also I've made videos about fungi and lichens and bacteria. So uh, do subscribe my channel to get all those videos, to get easy links of those videos, and your subscription will also encourage me to make more videos. And do comment on the video how you liked it, and do also comment on any topic you want me to make more videos. If you like this video, do share it with your friends, and thanks for watching this video.